What's going on, Fansplash fans? It's Jesse Swift and Tyler Hall once again coming at you fresh out of a brand new movie. That would be the reboot of Hellboy starring David Harbour, directed by Neil Marshall, known for some Game of Thrones as well as the Descent horror movie. Have you seen that movie?
No.
I have not. I heard it's terrifying. But we definitely have some thoughts coming out of the movie. Not an Oscar winner.
No.
My mind is not blown.
No.
Did we have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it worth 11% on Rotten Tomatoes?
No.
Man.
No, that's not fair.
We live in such a 0 or 10 world right now.
I know.
Where it's like,
ridiculous.
this is either the biggest piece of shit or this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
I got popcorn for this movie, and nobody came and sucked me off. So this movie gets a 0.
Hole in the bottom of the popcorn carton. But aside from that disappointment, was anything disappointing about the movie?
Yeah, the CGI was so off and on, just like all over the place. The blood looked pretty bad.
But there was lots of it, which was fun.
There's plenty of it, and plenty of swearing. And it wasn't like Trailer Park Boys swearing where it didn't work and didn't fit. They actually even
I feel like they only used it like 5 or 6 times, maybe.
Swearing?
Saying, F-bomb. It didn't seem like it was that much. Maybe I'm desensitized.
No, that pig character said fuck like
I couldn't understand half the stuff he was saying.
Really?
That was the other thing. Everyone
You
wearing
can't speak English?
There's pretty much everyone that was wearing heavy amounts of makeup, I feel like lines were dropped. I'm like, what? But
I think you're going deaf. It was pretty audible to me. But what I was saying, like, in like Deadpool or Trailer Park Boys, they try to like shove in cuss words where there shouldn't be any. And this didn't really do that except for like immediately at the very beginning. Other than that, it kind of made sense. But why? But you mentioned something about like the shitty looking blood and CGI and stuff like that. Like you had a good thought.
Well, yeah, my good thought was, and something I picked up from the reviews, because I try to be an optimist when I want to be. And there was reviews commenting on the cartoonish nature of the film, and I'm like, this kind of sounds like Evil Dead or Ash vs. Evil Dead. And I watched that, and I kind of get that that feeling. There's some cheese factor to the film. It's excessively gory. None of it looks real, but it's entertaining. And Alex, who we saw the movie with as well, said it was just a 2-hour-long music video, which so was Suicide Squad, but I feel like this did a better job of it.
I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the chemistry between the characters. I enjoyed Hellboy himself a lot.
David Harbour did. He's the next best thing.
I think that his characterization was pretty great. But yeah, don't expect it to look fantastic. Don't expect it to look real. And if you can get past that, there's some really cool shit, man. There's giants.
This movie
there's
is
blood
metal
and guts.
as hell.
There's, horns and halos and swords and all sorts of shit. It's cool, man. It's cool.
It's much more medieval than Guillermo's movies.
There's some brutal deaths.
That too.
Very, very fun. Brutal, very brutal deaths.
I found myself cringing, which is hard to do when you watch stuff like Game of Thrones or Ash vs. Evil Dead. But there's several times I was like, I don't like looking at that.
There were a lot of like oh shit, like, and then there are a lot of like huh.
One thing,
and when I say that don't lose that. When I say that the CGI doesn't look the best, that doesn't mean that the character design wasn't good. It just means it doesn't blend. I mean that it didn't blend, but like right off the bat, like every monster that they show, I think like as far as like character design goes, looks really good, like aesthetically pleasing wise.
There was some moments
Batman.
of clear green screen to me, and yeah, just effects wise, kind of off. But he was talking about oh shit, and the thing that I want to say oh shit to is the amateur hour directing, or I don't know if it's directing or just editing, but the pacing and the flow is very just jigsawed together.
It is fucked up.
And there's not a lot of consistency, and I constantly found myself like starting to get into something, and oh okay, and then starting to get into something again. It's like, and next, and so like man, I'm really having a hard time just fully immersing into this
It's
movie.
like the movie
it's
was
so
a glass
jarring.
ball that they dropped and broke, and then they're like, oh shit, and they had to put all the pieces back together, but they're
And
not all there.
Recently, it's come to light that I guess the director Neil Marshall and the producers and David Harbour, like just the Trinity there, were constantly bickering and arguing about the direction of the story and stuff throughout the entire movie. Conveniently, that story didn't come out until a day before when the reviews started coming out. They're, oh, well, this is the explanation why we did this and that, and blah. So it's a mess. This is an entertaining mess. Do I recommend seeing it on a really big screen? Yeah, I do, because
I'm gonna see it again.
you're gonna think of it even more so if you watch it on a small screen. At least the big screen's distracting. It has big bright colors and blood.
Yeah,
2 post-credit scenes.
fun.
Stay
Yeah.
or don't.
The CGI, you know what it reminds me of? Like how it's blending. It reminds me of people that have like the drama filter on their HD TVs. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's I can't do it. Can't do it.
Well, anyways, we had an all right time. I think we covered most
I would like
things.
to see a sequel.
I really want to see a sequel. I'm extremely worried about the box office of this film, but that's something we can get into when we do our full review next week. So
I know it at least made $12.
it more than that, because they're $18 IMAX tickets, so they just
there you go.
made like 18 times like 6 people. It made some
The
money.
theater was full.
It was pretty packed. There was a big line, surprisingly. All right, so just wrap up final review. Do you have a number-ish rating?
Go see it for yourself. Determine your own thing. I'll give it a solid 6.
I was actually thinking, 6. I'm having a hard time between 6 and 6.5 out of 10, but right around that area. So let us know what you think. Definitely not 11%. That's just ridiculous.
No, that's
Stop
not fair.
hating it. Go throw some.
It's better than that.
It's closer to a thumbs up to me than a thumbs down. So if I was doing Rotten Tomatoes, I'd give it one of these positive reviews.